All right, here we go. So, first tip is get it in the middle. As middle as you can. Second tip, seal this to the bat. Look at that, sealed to the bat. And this is going to be all about compression. So we're not going to spend a lot of time doing this, but to illustrate, if I was going to make a pop-up lid, I would push in, get some water, and I'd push this in, and guess what? I would get, oops, let's clean that up. This is really soft. I would get a knob that popped up. And so soft I can do anything with it. So as I'm pushing in, this knob gets taller. And the reason for that is I push the clay in on itself, it collides with itself, and it pops up. So I'm actually compressing the clay in the center. So that is one way to think about compressing, or a good visual way to think about compressing. And of course, if we wanted to make a lid, we would just do whatever we wanted, make it the right size, and everything would come out great. But we're here just to talk about compression. So, step 2. We want to make a mug, a cup, a little cup. Put your clay down, free tip, take your finger, seal it to the bat or to the wheel. So when the water gets under there, it flies off your wheel. And now our goal is to make a little cup, or a mug. But an important part of that is compressing the bottom. So if we take a lesson from our pop-up lid, we have a good idea of what we can do to compress. So maybe I've opened that wide enough for myself. And now it's important for me to get the bottom compressed. So what do? So the normal teaching is just to press down on this, and some mysterious way get it in compression. And I've only seen this tip one other place, but from an engineering standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. So establish your outside, and if I push inward, I'm actually pushing the clay together, and it's getting compressed. So while I originally opened it up and I would drag it out, I'm actually stretching the clay in the middle away from itself. So now, before I'm done, I want to make sure my last few compression strokes go from out to in, and I'll actually feel the clay bunch up in the middle. So all those particles are hitting themselves, and now I can gently press down and even it out. If I press down too hard, it could squirt out the sides. So if you want to get it compressed, your final compression strokes should be out to in. You'll actually feel the clay get firmer in the middle, and there you go. So that would be for a mug or cup. So now that's compressed, and we do whatever we want to do to throw our mug and whatever we're throwing. And we'll do some more tips later. It's, if you don't center your item real well at the bottom there, it's going to cause you trouble, right? So later on we'll talk about how do we get rid of that trouble. We didn't spend all that time centering it, so now how are we going to get rid of the wobble at the bottom before we pull it into our cup? And it's generally that easy. So now that we got rid of it, we can pull the same amount of material up, and again, that'll be later on in another video. But this one is all about compression. So we're on our way to making our mug or our cup or whatever we want to say, but we've got a nice compressed bottom. So next step is, I know what you're saying, what about a plate? You know, what am I going to do if I really wanted to build a plate? Well, it just so happens you have to compress it the same way, and that'll go a long way to saving you some S-cracks. All right, we're back. Excuse me. So what about a plate? Get it in the middle. Make it nice and uniform. Seal it with your finger. And one time we'll talk about centering and mixing. And what we'll do is we'll put a piece of red clay in the bottom, in the middle. And we'll try a couple things to mix the clay and get the red clay up to the top. So this is going to be a plate. And the question is, and I don't have to make this so centered, but we'll do an okay job here. It's so soft, you can do anything you want with this. So we're on the way to making our plate. But plates are notorious for S-cracks. So now what? Well, let's get our material out and our thickness that we want. Let's say that's what we want. So I've stretched this out from the middle. And by pushing it this way, and I'm really close to the plate I want to make. So I've stretched it out. And now a lot of people say, well, I'm going to push down on it and I'll go back and forth. And I don't care how you get where you get. Once you get it as flat as you want, you have to go inward and see how that clay is actually colliding with itself and popping up in the middle. Now it's the same density. So when it dries, it'll be as strong as the rest of the plate, and you probably won't crack it or get an S-crack. So when people tell you they compress things, it means more than just pushing down. And that's the purpose of the tip, to show that one piece. Now, one gal I watched had a routine where she would push away, come back around at 4 o'clock, and then she'd always make sure to come back in to get that clay solid in the middle again. And when it's all the same density, you can take a rib and make it as flat as you want it. So that's a plate. So there's a request from the bleachers to show you that applies to ribbing as well. So we made this plate. And now when I rib and smooth it out, I'm going to work from out to in. Somewhere along the way, hopefully my last few passes, And it's going to do the same thing. It's going to force everything into the middle. And now I can make a nice flat plate. Even though this clay is soft as mush. I'm working out to in, and then do whatever you want with the rim. However you want to finish it. And it's up to you. Clay is easy. There's nothing worse than ending up with something that is unusable or cracks before you fire it. So this is basic compression. I may do one more off the hump to show you the same compression applies to a bowl. Same thing. Last few passes, go inward, make sure you guide your clay so it collides into each other and starts to pop up, and then it will have compressed and become as dense as the rest of it, and you're way less likely to get any S-cracks. So that's it, I think, for this short tip. Hope you enjoyed it.